Alright, so what I'm going to do to make things a little bit easier is there's a twofold approach I'm taking. I'm actually going to do all of the looting while I'm offline. So as in I won't be in this video, so we can get through this video as fast as we possibly can. The sections that I will loot will be the chests that we have on the side there, but I've already done this room. So we're down now in the second section, and you see we have a save point here. Take advantage wherever you can of these repair points, because if you want to get the most out of this entire section, you need to do as much looting as you possibly can. I've already destroyed them all, but there are a ton of chests along here, a ton of things to loot, absolutely tons. And what I've done here as well is I've already cleared this main chamber here of enemies. So as you're entering this chamber here, there will be some enemies that come at you from here. They'll chase you back into this hallway right here behind me. There's probably about 10 of them. So you'll see down in front of us here, what we're trying to do is get through this doorway here. And you'll see there's 2 lines on it, which means we've got 2 different locks to unlock. So in order to do that, there are 2 separate sections. First section here will just have a few random enemies. They'll be just over here. This is the bone guys as usual. There's probably about 8 or 10 of them. There will be a whole heap of vases and whatnot up on the side there, which I've already destroyed. What you will see is a recurring theme throughout a lot of the halls, whether you've actually done this one or whether you've done the previous one as well. You'll see that there are a little respawn things that appear throughout. So you'll see a little pile of bones, and that little pile actually spawns a lot of the enemies. So the best thing to do, and as I said, I won't put it in this video because I don't want to make it too long, the best thing to do with each of those is to just approach the pile as quick as you possibly can, destroy it, and pretty much ignore all the enemies. So here's the first of our Ectoplasm fragments, and that has spawned some enemies again, and that's spawned one of those mini bosses there. So as with the previous thing I was mentioning before, the easiest way to get these guys and to kill these guys is just channel them into this corridor here, and you can take care of them quite easily. Now, if you've watched the previous video, you may notice that I'm now moving slowly from what's happened with that boss there, and that is because he froze me. So a lot of what you will find when you loot in here, and I say this very many times, one of the main reasons to loot, and this is what we've looted so far, I basically emptied my backpack apart from the 2 keys and the 2 arrows there. So what I will have here is ice protection lotion. So that's something that will come in very, very handy. So you'll notice now on the door in front of us that one of the little marks that's on the door has now been ticked off or marked. So we've only got 1 to go. Now once you come down this corridor here, you'll have a respawn just here. Also one just here as well. So there's 2 of those that you need to take care of before you can get through this section. If you don't take care of them, the enemies will just continually respawn, the skeletons will just continually respawn, and you'll never get through them. So in here we have another section very similar to the other one, and as I mentioned before, I've already done all of the looting that I need to do in here. Forgot to pick up those other books. And there's another ice protection lotion. And all of the ice protection lotions that I've found to this point have been in various other vases and whatnot throughout the map. So what we're looking for here is, you'll see just in front of me up the top there's a grapple point. So we needed to get to that grapple point there, and you'll see the other Ectoplasm fragment is up there. And there we go. Barrier is now unlocked. And going true to form, we may have some enemies down here. We may or we may not. We'll have to wait and see. Alright, so at this stage, no more enemies. Which is good, and as I mentioned, tons of vases in there to loot as well. Alright, so I've done a little bit of looting in this first little tunnel here. The main room here is going to be a little bit interesting for me to try and demonstrate, but you'll see down below I've got a couple of corpses there. That's because I've got a long range archer build, so what I did is just took out the enemies at long range. However, what you may not really be able to see is sort of just down where I'm pointing the arrow right there, and over on the other side around about there, there are 2 of the respawns that I was talking about earlier. So our mission now is to get down and to get them. What you can also do from here, if you have double jump and if you have updraft, you can actually double jump and updraft over to that side there and also to that side over there, and do some looting over there, which we've done just before as well. You can actually get back to this side over here from just over here where we are right here. So you'll see there's a little walkway that comes down here, so you can take the enemies out and then escape back up to the top if you want, or you can try and, if you need to sort of regroup at any stage, you can sort of try and do that up there. Alright, so now that we've taken down those base stations down the bottom, there's a couple of little tricky things that you're looking for in this main space here. Just up above my head over here where I'm aiming at, there is a switch there, and just on that side as well, on the other side, there's a switch as well. So what we're trying to do is get up to that position. I've tried a few different times to glide up, and if you're very, very, very careful, like I just was just then, you can glide up and miss all of these side corridors here, which I've already gone through and looted. In these corridors here you'll find a few bats and various other things, and there's a little flame puzzle to jump over flames just underneath me, just up here, as you'll see there, which isn't too difficult, and there's a lot of vases and whatnot to loot along the way there as well. It's actually really quite simple to get up to this particular section here, and in this section you've got 2 plungers to get, and the other one is directly on the other side, and with any luck we can nail it. Yes, we did. Fantastic. Alright, and grab the other one. So with that in mind, of course, that is your end goal. However, coming down here, making sure there's no enemies around here anymore. There's two things I'll point out. That's your entry to go upstairs, either there or there. And we came in directly above where we are here. Coming up here into the part where the large green banner is. You'll see here there's a secret room. And there is a silver chest in here. Not fantastic loot, but it's something nevertheless. And on this side, some more red marble fragment. The other thing, I believe it is up here. So you'll see, as well as that, the doorway there, I've activated both plungers, and that's where we're trying to get to, is through that doorway there. So you'll see as we came down earlier, we came down on the other side. There's two sort of little rooms that live here. There's this one here and the one on the other side. And in the one that we came down just before, just inside here, there is a chest which has a potion in it. So coming up either side here in the middle of the room, if you're facing towards the two puzzle pieces and looking at the stairs that are broken, if you head in here up the stairs and to the left hand side, there are a ton of chests in here, or a ton of vases in there, and they contain loads and loads of marble, which is very helpful. And as I mentioned before, this is the way to get to the fire puzzle, just along here, and it's right up here. Right, the other thing is in the very middle, facing the door with the two puzzle pieces on it to the right hand side. There is a coffin up here which is lootable right here in front of me here, and at the very end of this corridor here as well, just here, you'll find another silver chest as well, which has a level 15 wand in it, so if you're a lower level that might be pretty helpful to you. What we're going to do now here is take a look at the next section and what's in store for us. So you see there's a couple of enemies there, but they're not really going to be too interested in us because there's a door between us. And you'll see we've got one of those red shield fellas there. They can cast spells at us, but they can't get past us. But what you will notice there is 10 notches on the door, which means for the next section there are 10 markers that we have to find, and that's the section that we're going to go and approach now, which is down here in the main cavern. So for the next little section here, it's not necessarily required, but if you want to get the lore and the loot that's in here, it's recommended to do. So as you saw before, I was able to double jump and updraft and get over to the other section at the top, and we saw a whole bunch of marks on the door, which meant that we needed to get a whole host of markers to actually open that door. Now the thing with that was those markers are required from this side of the door, and as we saw just before when we were looking at those enemies, they were on the other side of the door and unable to attack us and unable to get near us. So what we're going to check out in a minute, I'm just going to check out this little corridor here. Now this is a little secret passageway in here. Not really a lot in here in terms of a little bit of marble, and that's about it. But what we're actually trying to do was get to a particular section. And this section in here in and of itself is actually quite significant. So, and there's quite a lot of enemies in here. At one section in here I had to face 3 of the red side bosses all at the same time. So that's why I say specifically it's not required. You don't need to do it if you don't need to, if you don't want to, but if you're after things like lore pages and you know, wanting to get 100% completion, it's recommended to do. So there were a host of enemies that were in this main chamber here, and this main chamber here is the one where we were looking through just a moment ago on the other side of the door, and you'll see up ahead of us there is the button. So coming down on the other side in just a moment, I'll just check out the loot in here. So there's quite a few good bits of loot in here as well. Wisps of light, fireballs. So coming down on the opposite side from the main cavern, which had all the 10 markers on the door, and you'll see yourself when you actually go to that section, there are a host of enemies that you have to kill, and they have little question marks on their head, and those are the ones that you've got to kill, the 10 that you've got to kill to actually open that door. So what we're after now is in this section here, we're just doing a bit of looting on the way because there's quite a few good things along the way here. So this is the main thing that we're actually concerned with, is this piece of lore here, and you'll see it's hollow. Hidden crafting recipes, listen to my plan, brothers. And that's now unlocked the crypt chandelier and a new couple of crafting recipes as well. And if you head on down to the bottom here and then come back out the doorway here, this is where we came in just before, which is the main entry stairs. Go away, buddy. And this is the main entry stairs, and now we're back into the main cavern where we were previously. In the main chamber, just in front of us, right here in the direction of where the 2 little symbols are that we checked out earlier. And down this little corridor here, we've got another save point. And we have another repair point as well, which is quite helpful. So what I'm going to do now is I'll go away once again, I'll loot this room, repair all my tools, and then we'll head on into the next section. Alright, so now that we've repaired everything, we'll head on into the next section here. This entire next section is not too bad for enemies. This main corridor here is mainly populated with flowers. So as you come up here, there'll be a few flowers. I've already taken them out, as I mentioned before. That's what I'm going to do this round, but what I'll do is I haven't looted them yet, so I'll show you by that where they are. So there was one here. Just here. Another one just here. There's another one that populates up here on the hill. Just here. It's disappeared for some reason. Not sure why. And there's another one that populates just here as well. And again, that one's disappeared for some reason. Don't know why. Never mind. But there's one just here. So as you come around this corner here, it's sneakily waiting for you there. Alright, so headed on into the next section now. And as we discussed previously, now there are 8 plasm fragments that we need to get. So there is one there. This one here, you can, as you'll see, there's a grapple point up there. Another one there. And there are some others that are down at the bottom. And as I mentioned previously, this entire cavern is mainly flowers. So if you are needing any poison sacks for crafting of arrows, this is a pretty handy section for that, because as you can see, there's quite a few flowers around the place here, and I just killed about 10 of them coming into this section as well. So unfortunately a few of them despawned. I don't know why. It's the first time that's happened. But yeah, you can see there's quite a few of them around here. And the rest of the sacks that we need to get and the ectoplasms we need to get are down on the ground. So that's what we're going to take a look at now, but I'm going to take all these flowers out before we do that. The other thing that I'll quickly mention in this section as well is there are rats everywhere, so that's probably the only other bugbear with the place and pain in the butt with the place. Alright, so what I'll do now is I'll clear all them out, and I'll get back to you in a moment and we'll see where we're at. Alright, so now that we've cleared everything out, as I mentioned, now basically what you do down here is just do a lap around the outside. So the first of the places we're looking at here, which I've cleared out, this is a rat den. That's another one of the shrouds that we're looking for. Another one of the pieces that we're looking for. The next one is up in here. This also is a rat den. Another one of the pieces. And just following around clockwise like we were previously. You can head on into the center here. There's a whole heap of flowers that are in here that need to be taken out. And that's your next one there. And coming in here into the spider's den, there was another one which is just here, which I accidentally collected already. And if you need to check your progress at all in this particular cavern, you can go up the top, and I'll show you that in just a second. You can actually check on the door like we mentioned previously and see how many of the so we've got a silver chest there. Yeah, you can check on the door and see how many of the marks are checked off on the door. Alright. And then this is actually a bat cave, this one here. So we started over to the right hand side over there. And now you see barrier unlocked. So if you're looking for the easiest way to get across, and if you're looking for where the entry to the next hall actually is, just come to the beginning to where we started. From where we entered the chamber here. It's on the far wall. Easiest way to find that is you see those two piles of bones there. Then if you just come across here to the right and just go to the cable swings across here. Makes life much easier. Alrighty, and I missed the second cable swing there, but that's where the gate is there for the entry. So as I mentioned, directly across from our entry point, and also if you're sort of a little bit lost as well, you can have a look up for those two giant arches that are in the middle there. They don't have the wooden supports that are going across, similar to the other ones do. Alright, so what we've done now is gone ahead and cleared the next section out and done all the looting. There's another repair table in here, which is quite handy. Now, we're probably still only about halfway through, but one thing I will do really quickly is show you. This is everything that's been looted so far. The only thing I had was those two arrows there and those two keys there. That's it. So for all the people out there who say don't loot, they're idiots. I got 162 red marble fragments, a whole lot of ectoplasm fragments, and that was me not mining the ectoplasm fragments from all of the piles that are on the floor along the way. I could have done a lot of that, which I did not do, and I don't need all that bone. I've got too much of it already. But as you can see, tons of arrowheads, tons of meat from all the rats, tons of poison sacks. There's a heap, and massive amounts of potions and salt, which are a real pain in the butt to both produce and find. So always handy to have all those. So and there's been quite a few mana potions and Flask of the Fell and Wisp of Light that I found as well, which has just automatically gone to the stack that I already had there. Alright, so next section along. So a couple of things for here. There will be a whole lot of containers that you can loot along the way on the left hand side there in all of those little nooks. You'll notice just here as well a couple of containers with marble and more fragments. There's two things up here. You will notice that there are two spawning points which need to be destroyed. There's one here and there's one which is down the bottom which hasn't respawned yet. Fine. I actually went through and already destroyed both of them. Then we have to unlock. There's one door on this side and one door on the other side. On this side here you've got a really large chest. And this container here, not the greatest, but we'll take it. And I have already deleted, you would have seen as well, or sold rather, the wand that I looted and also the bow that I looted because I was running out of space. So just to let you know about that. So that's on this side. In terms of enemies over on the other side here, there's just one lot of enemies that spawn over here. They usually spawn just around about there. and they'll chase you in. There's about 20 or 30 of them, so just watch yourself. And there are no respawn points in here which need to be destroyed. And that brings you on into the next section here, and this is where the giant slippery dip begins. Alright, let's get into it. The only thing you need to do here is just make sure that you don't hit the yellow, and if you can at all help it, grab that latch point that I just did on my way up there. There are a couple of enemies that you need to take out in the interim, but there's no way for me to get around that. Alright, so the next section here, again just making sure to not fall down the holes. And what we'll do now is just take all of those enemies out and head on into the inside of the final area. There's no real trick to this particular section, but the one thing to keep in mind is that there'll be a lot of bone dogs that are just in the immediate outside area here, and you'll think you are past trouble and that you've got nothing to worry about by the time you approach the door. But the opening of the door actually spawns about 20 or 30 enemies, and one of them is one of your red scythe wielding big bosses. He's probably the one who's the main worry, and the one you should actually take care of first before you take care of all the rest of them. And then once you've taken that fella out, then you can head on into the main chamber here. And we've got another chamber to loot here, so what we're going to do is do a little bit of looting and get all that organised before we head on in to the main section in here. So we'll be back with you in just a moment. Right, so heading up to the next section, this is quite a significant area and there's quite a lot to cover. This walkthrough would have taken me honestly an hour and a half if I did all the looting along the way. Probably would have taken me 2 hours, maybe even longer. Number one thing you need to be concerned with coming through here is getting anywhere near that green stuff. It takes all of the life out of you, and especially for all the enemies that you have to face in here, it is a massive, massive problem. So you'll end up with quite a few enemies to face in this section. There's no respawn points or anything in here, but it's a big area with a lot to cover. So there's a sinister crescent staff there. Once again, I'm going to have to delete some space, make some space. I don't really want that stuff, so I'll salvage it. There's also a lot of crypts that are raidable in here as well. And a ton of containers along the way. So once you've taken care of those enemies heading towards that silver chest room, you can head on over this way. There will be, and you notice there, all I did was walk over a section that was moderately near the green and I got sapped of energy. There's about 20, maybe 30 spikes that spawn just over here, just all in this section here, including one sort of mini boss. They're quite difficult to take out. Once you reach the end of this corridor here, there's a little secret room, which you may not know about if you've been here. There's a ton of containers in here to loot, and also there is a chest in there which has some scrolls and spells in it as well, which is quite handy. Alright, now we're headed on down into the next section now. There'll be another round of enemies that spawn as you're coming down these stairs here. So you've got two sort of massive waves that spawn throughout here. Again, all the while you could be looting this stuff along the way if you really wanted to, but you'll pick up enough of it as you go along. There'll be a lot of enemies that spawn in here. Tons of them. Again, be very, very careful in here. There'll be some more enemies that spawn over in that direction as well. I'll chase you over here. Coming towards the end of this corridor here, you'll find a silver chest, and that gives you a red marble block. Again, there's a ton of chests and vases and whatnot to loot along the way through here. And another big section of enemies spawn in this area here as well and continue to spawn. But as I mentioned, I've taken them all out so that we can expedite the process here, and I've done all the looting as well. So now we're here at the next save section, and that takes us through into the main chamber. Alright, so now we're headed off into the Great Unknown, the large chamber. You'll see here there's just one fragment which is required, and it appears there is a large chest there, so it looks like it's the end, which it is. So one of the things you'll notice there with the boss is you'll see a weak point on his knee. And if you hit that, you can actually injure him and take him down quite a bit. And you'll notice I've died already once, which is a fate I did not face the first time I came and faced this guy, strangely enough. I managed to make it out without dying the first time I came through here. But there we go, we've taken him down. So hollow Cyclops head, done. Fantastic. Feel like we should do a little celebration dance here. We can see now that this door is now open. Hey! And we now have a chest. And as usual, it's only a level 15 weapon, which is quite boring. And one final chamber with the teleport, which we'll use, and that will take us upstairs, and we are done. Woohoo! What a mission. Boy oh boy. It is an absolutely huge mission to get done. Definitely a huge mission. So we're now at the entry to Hollow Halls, and if we just head back up this way and head towards the door, using the key once again, That will take us, as you'll see, to the outside. So just a quick wrap up. Again, just to give you an idea of what we've actually picked up. There's a hell of a lot of stuff. 227 ectoplasm fragments, near on 100 bone arrows, almost 50 coppers, quite a lot of poison coppers, which I used a few of as well. I actually didn't use too many poison iron arrows. I used every single one of the shroud arrows that I had, and I took over 200 in with me, so that is a hell of a lot. So just to give you an idea in terms of what you will be needing to use inside this zone, it is huge. You'll also get some red marble block from your troubles, warrior trousers, which I don't want. We also got a wand, 2 different staffs, 2 different ones actually. Again, I don't want any of these. But with everything you can loot, you get 300 in coins, in runes, 10 prayer of the flame scrolls, 60 salt, tons and tons of salt, around about 15 poison sacks. I think I missed a few, so you'll probably end up with around about 18 to 20. Loads and loads of greater mana potions. I was not using as many as I should have. I didn't use very many ice protection lotions either. So it's probably about a dozen of them you get as well. So as you can see, absolute tons of stuff you get out of there, and definitely worth your while, especially for the red marble fragment for building, because at this stage I'm not sure whether it actually exists anywhere outside of the Hollow Halls chambers. You can just use the menu cheat and just continually head on into the Hollow Halls chamber. All you need to do is just return to main menu and then come back in to your latest save point. So if you've got, like I do, and have a spawn point down here, you can just do that and then come back in and do the first part, or whichever part that you are aware of in the chamber that contains red marble. But as I mentioned, I looted every single chest, every single one of these vases within this entire chamber. I broke down every table, broke down every chair, and that's what we got out of it. We also destroyed about 200 and something bones as well, so loads of bones. If you happen to be short on bones, which I'm not, that's a really great resource to get from there as well. And this dog has followed me all the way outside. Hello, puppy. Goodbye, puppy. Alright, and with that, I think that's going to end things for us for this episode. It has been an incredibly long one. Thank you very much for staying with us. If you have, I hope it's given you a little bit of information and given you some ideas on how to better attack this chamber. As I mentioned at the beginning, it is a massive undertaking. You'll probably need around about an hour and a half at least. Even if you do it fast, you'll probably need maybe an hour. If you do it moderately slow and do a lot of looting, it'll probably take you about 2 hours. So, you know, good. You know, you're really getting your money's worth, which I'm happy with in the game. So, you know, take advantage of it, seeing it's there for you. All right, well, with that, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Glitch Gaming.